I'm a bit starstruck at the moment because you've gone famous for actually protecting women. Who would have thought? I mean, under that video that was posted on TikTok, but then subsequently on X and everything else, what I was happy to see was a string of positive comments of people supporting you and saying, this is not on. Let's just quickly take a look at the video of what you were dealing with in Gold's gym. Now, that is clearly not a woman. Sorry, I'm actually not even going to apologize. That's a male in a crop top, okay? Anyone who's listening, I see a male who clearly loves a bench press, no breasts, no long hair, which is fine. You don't need long hair to be a woman, but this man is exemplifying nothing of femininity. Absolutely nothing. I mean, there are some transgender people that do like to get on the old hormone replacement therapy. This is not one of them. If I saw that in my changing room, I would scream and run out. I would be freaked out because that's a man who clearly looks like he's got all his capabilities intact. Tish, what was your experience?
Complete shock. I mean, you know, you're going into a women's locker room, and I've worked out at that gym for years, so I wasn't expecting to come into this situation and to be met with what I was met with, which was, you know, disregard and disrespect as I stood there naked. So I was just confused and in shock and outraged and just trying to figure out what was going on, really.
And Tish, this didn't just happen once. This happened on 8 separate occasions over a month, right?
Yeah, so the first 2 weeks it happened 4 times, and I came in contact with 3 different men in the women's locker room. And two of the times was Alexis Black.
Which is that person.
Which is that guy, that man. And then there were 2 others. One that was an African-American male, kind of looked more along the female side, but you know, we're instinctually animals. We know when we're looking at the opposite sex. So, you know, and this man was also very...
Were they clothed or were they?
Clothed.
Okay.
They were clothed. The male that could pass, he went to the bathroom, went to the locker and got his bag out the locker, and then, you know, just proceeded to sit down. And then I was getting ready to get undressed. So when I gave him that energy, he got up, but his energy said that, like, oh, whatever, this BI, you know, like just very annoyed and pissed off. And the thing is that there's an all gender restroom on the first floor in that gym and with the lockers outside. So he's in the room just to prove a point.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to use the restroom.
No, exactly. I think that there is a sort of sick, I don't want to get so into it, but I think there's sometimes a bit of a sick motive, especially when I see someone like that, who is very clearly a man who only just wants to be in the female locker rooms. I wonder why. I mean, he's genuinely, that guy's cosplaying a woman. He's just thinking, oh, I'll put a crop top on and apparently I'm a woman. And that's very, very insulting.
Yes, and you know, let me make this plain. Women deserve boundaries, period. We deserve safety, privacy, and respect. And I'm not going to sit quietly while those rights are rewritten or dismissed. It's just like they're using civil rights as a mask, and black blood was not spilled for this. Black blood was spilled for civil rights, not to be used as a mockery or a shield for policies that erase women's voices. Our mothers and grandmothers marched so we could speak, not to be silent. So I will not be silent, and I don't think any woman should be.
Amen to that. Amen. Because, my goodness, it seems like women's rights are just sort of some afterthought at the moment. I think in the Western world, we've completely forgotten what we are about. I mean, you had your gym membership revoked. Is that right? From Gold's?
Yes, absolutely.
So you had your membership taken?
Yes, EOS Gym canceled my membership. Gold's started the whole I was making reports to Gold's. They did nothing, and then they sold EOS in between all of this. And then I made 2 reports with EOS, and then they said they canceled my membership. So it's Gold and EOS that both were negligent in the situation.
Oh my goodness, that's horrible, Tish. And look, I mean, you're an openly lesbian artist, you know, you don't exactly want a male near you, I'm sure for many reasons, just like a lot of straight women obviously don't want it, don't want any of that near them in their changing room when they're at their most vulnerable. But it does seem to me like he had this male hatred for you. I mean, he obviously we're on television and radio, so we can't swear, but he was quite aggressive. Could you talk us through what he said when you told him to back off?
Well, basically, I said to him, you have to leave the room. I don't know how many times I got to see this. There are girls in here naked. And he said to me verbatim, straight women like to see D word in the locker room. So if anything, they're looking at me more than you in here. And I said, what? It was ridiculous and it was disgusting. And I honestly think that my interactions with him happened so many times that I feel like he was always in there just hanging out. I don't know who he was stalking, but I think I saved someone's life because when I look at him and how unhinged he is and the things that he's done in the past, I'm like, God wanted me to say something. This is not something that is in character for me, being the type of person who's loud and screaming in a place. Like, that gym has never seen me out of character. They see me working out in there. They know I'm a woman that's just doing great things. So that was just an experience that I feel like was out of body. It was God. And I'm glad that it happened because it's bringing it to people's attention. What is happening throughout the world and in America, in every state, there's no protection for women in the restroom, in their private spaces. And people need to know that.
I laugh because if I wasn't laughing, I would genuinely cry. I mean, it seems like we're at a wit's end over here. I've had on my show nurses who said that they don't want to share a changing room with a male nurse who now, because there's been a tribunal and a court case, we can actually see that that male nurse was very much a male nurse. It wasn't a transgender female. Again, he was parading around in his holy underwear in one of our hospitals, and the nurses were forced to change in basically a broom closet, while Rose, however this guy identified, got the whole changing room to himself. So you're right. I think if you don't assert yourself like you did, I mean, it's crazy how much you had to kick and scream to even just get your basic rights, which is a changing room for a female. More and more of this will go on. Now, you live in LA, which is really, in my opinion, the epicenter of wokeness. Is there more crazy stuff that goes on that we should be aware of? Because I feel like it comes to Britain a couple years afterwards.
Well, I'll say this. LA is a very progressive city, but it's not full of crazy people without morals that are just freaking off over here. That's not what's happening. And the majority of people in LA that have seen this story and have seen what's going on and are realizing what's going on are in shock and against it as well. I think what's happening is it's been silenced. So now that thank you so much for putting me on this platform. Let me say this to all the women of America, all the women of the world. Stop calling them trans women. They're not women. They are men. We need to take away the civil rights from them and give them the same rights as every other man. They're just men, and some men wear dresses, and that's okay. They're not in any danger. There's nothing to see here, and it needs to be stopped. The sooner we stop programming ourselves to call them women when they're nothing to do with women, the sooner we can see them for who they are. Men in dresses. We don't care what their sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter. We don't care if they're crazy, if they're not. It doesn't matter. They're men, and that is it. They don't need any extra human rights. They don't need any reason to be tied into our reproductive rights or anything. They're just men. They're men and they're women. There's no trans nothing. There's men, there's women. Some men wear dresses, some women wear beards, and it's all good.
You're so right, Tish, when you talk about those extra rights. It does seem like by the way, I'm perfectly happy for anyone to live their life however they want to live it. I genuinely don't have an issue with that. But don't go shoving your ideology down my throat. That's what I've got an issue with. And you're right, they do believe that they need special privileges just because of how they identify. They want a gold star and they want to be treated better than everyone else and make everyone else around them scared while they go and put their lipstick and their crop top on and pretend to be a female. And you're right, we can't put up with this. Tish, you're a legend. You're a strong woman. The world is very lucky to have you. I want you to run for some sort of political position because I just think that we need more people like you. What's next? First of all, have you had your gym membership reinstated? I want to know that. But also, what's next in your life? I mean, you're a very successful singer as well.
Well, I did not get my gym membership reinstated. I haven't heard back from EOS or Golds. They just told me to refrain from using the gym and they would not give me my termination agreement or anything. Oh, excuse me, to say that the membership was done. So I don't know what's going on with that. In regards to
So the membership is not reinstated?
No, it's not. And, you know, now is after my first main priority was raising awareness to this issue, not pursuing legal action and going for all this other stuff. I'm really, really focused on raising awareness to this issue and some sort of change being made to some of these bills, like, quickly. So that's why I really just care about raising awareness. In regard to my future, like, I've been really just trying to get the education down. I think that politics is like a gang now. It's like the Bloods and the Crips, which is the red and the blue. And I think everybody's thinking with a gang mentality. So I don't want to come into this setting with the gang mentality. I'm a baby in this. I'm fresh. And that's the best thing about me, because I don't have any premeditated reasons to push anywhere or any agenda. I'm independent. I was Democrat. I voted for Kamala. But, you know, I voted just blindly. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying it was a good or bad thing for her to win or lose, but I voted blindly. And now my life mission is to encourage people to use their individual minds. Stop thinking like gangs. Vote for legislation, not the legislator, because there are things on the blue side and the red side that are kind of worrying me. So I think I'm really trying to encourage people of the world to pay attention to the politics in their states. Stop focusing just on the president. Get into your senates and governors and just find out who you're voting in and what they stand for, and vote for policies. And I hope to grow in this space and help, you know, women to get safety and just do everything I can to make the world a better place. This thing really woke me up to something that was happening and added to my life's purpose. I'm still a musician, I'm still a singer, and I'm still gonna put out music. I love music. It's my love, and if you go back and listen, you know, I've always talked about life. My music has always had purpose and meaning, but this just gave me more purpose and more meaning.
Tish, I think you've done a world of good for women. I think that video specifically on TikTok brought to the attention what a lot of women and girls across the world are actually dealing with because of this ideology that's crept into their changing rooms. Look, if it doesn't work out for you in America, I think you've got quite the future over here in Britain, because I'm getting a lot of text messages. I'm getting Debbie says, "Amen, Tish, you go, girl." Angie says, "Well done, Tish. Thank you for standing up for women and girls everywhere. Great respect to you and thank you." And Joanna says, "Hi, Samara. Men hanging out in women's changing rooms that sit there and ogle freely without charge. They do it quite legally. When I was young, a man spying on women would be called peeping toms. They would get charged and fined, and some even went to prison. Thank you, Tish, for standing up for women's rights." Yes, Joanna makes a great point. Tish Hyman, what a woman. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And keep fighting the good fight for us.
I won't stop. And my next thing is women's prisons. There are men being housed in women's prisons throughout America. It's a crazy problem.
It's happening here too. It's happening here too.
It's gotta stop. It's crazy. Girls, we gotta be loud. We gotta fight. Now is the time. These are men. They're not girly girls. The men don't know what's going on. Get your husbands, get your brothers, get your uncles, everybody who got a daughter. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a problem for you too. If men keep going about this, women are gonna be annoyed with y'all and y'all not gonna be able to get any dates. Focus, people. We got to come together, unite in truth. They're men and women. That's it. As we can just get into truth, get into reality, people.
Tish, thank you. Look, Tish is fighting the good fight over there. She knows what's up. Myron, you're a man, last time I checked. What do you think about that?
I think it was quite interesting the way she said that guy came in and he was just kind of like outraged and like, you know, he's on edge, and also he's deeply insecure, it seems like, you know, when he's been asked to leave. And what he's trying to do, I think that specific guy is trying to prove to himself that he's a woman, because I think he doesn't actually believe it. I think he's gone to a women's changing room.
You know what the issue really is that people like him undermine legitimate trans people.
Yeah.
So there are people who are actually not born in the right body.
Yeah.
And they truly feel that they need to identify as a different gender.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything good for the movement because he puts a crop top on and says that that's what being a woman is. There are people who have had their whole lives destroyed because they genuinely don't feel comfortable in their own body. And I just want to say to them, you know, we support you. Do whatever you want in life. I've got no issue with you doing what you need to do. The issue I have is men like that in Gold's Gym undermine who you want to be and the life that you want to live. That's my issue.
I think it comes down to humility, because I think if you suffer like from gender dysphoria, you feel like you're in the wrong body, there is a sense of humility. You feel like, you know what? I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to be happy. I'm just trying to find some sense of purpose and my identity, and I'm struggling with it, and so on. And that's what a lot of trans people go through. This guy is in a different league. This guy is, when you actually say, I am a woman, it's basically like saying, I am, like Keir Starmer saying, I'm going to be Prime Minister, lead me with the next election. You are saying it out of pure insecurity, right? You don't really believe what you're saying. You just have to shout louder to make it seem true.
Yes, I agree with you. I think it's just that the movement has kind of spun out of control. I know a lot of old school trans people that are not happy with what's happened. It's been commercialized. You know, big corporations have found, ooh, I can make a little bit of money out of this. This is the issue. It is a legitimate movement, but it's being undermined by these people.
No, look, womanhood has the very foundation. It's intrinsically linked to biology, whereas these specific kind of trans activists, or I don't know what kind of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want
to say he's a trans activist. He's just a weirdo, I would just say.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
He thinks he can throw out the biological component of womanhood and, as you say, make it a costume. But look at I wonder, what does Xi Jinping and Putin think about the Western world when this stuff is being allowed? When we're discussing Supreme Court rulings and then Bridget Phillipson wondering about how to implement it into the NHS and councils and business and so on. I worry about that. In an international stage, we are a laughingstock when it comes to this stuff.
I mean, I'm a libertarian at heart. Live your life, do whatever you want to do. I don't think the state should get involved. The state is getting too involved on many different sides of this. Live what you want to do, but don't go and sort of, you know, start making Tish feel uncomfortable. You know, that's where I draw the line. And also, as I said, he's playing a caricature, that guy. If you've seen the visuals, he really is, and it undermines everything else. Now, speaking of, and you're right, Xi Jinping and Putin, they're just laughing at us because we're obsessed with culture wars. We're not getting any boots on the ground. We're not getting anything properly done in this country. But oh well, that's what the West has come to. Speaking of the death of the West, almost a third of our country's Muslims want Sharia law implemented by 2044. Think about that and give me a call, 0344 499 1000. I'm going to talk to someone who's actually lived under Sharia law. She can tell you a little bit about how great it is after this break.